The man in front of me has a special ability. He can see what will happen in the future. One day, Smith from the class came to find the man. He asked to borrow his social security card. It turned out that Smith's birthday was coming up. He wanted to show off his family's wealth to his classmates. He promised to buy a car for every student in the class, but Smith wanted to use the man's identity to buy a car, because the man had a membership at a car dealership. This way, he could get a better discount. But in the next second, the man saw the scene where he would lend Smith his social security card and then die tragically on the street. The man decisively refused. Unexpectedly, his girlfriend suddenly stepped forward. She ordered the man to quickly give Smith the social security card. At that moment, the man saw the future again. It turned out that his girlfriend had already cheated on him with Smith. Smith was just a poor student, but he pretended to be the son of a rich man for the sake of vanity. He borrowed the man's social security card. It wasn't to buy a car using the membership. He was using it to take out a loan of millions of dollars. The man was extremely angry, but he suddenly changed his firm refusal. He looked troubled instead. He said he didn't want to refuse. It's just that he couldn't remember the card number. He needed to go back and get the social security card. His girlfriend immediately urged him to hurry. Little did she know, the man said this on purpose. Just now, he had come up with a perfect revenge plan. It turned out that the man was the real son of a rich family, but he was very low-key. This was the first time the man had used his family's power. He asked his father's butler to help check someone's information. In the future, the man saw Smith not only deceived him, but also caused his parents to lose trust in him. This led to the man being unable to repay his debts. In the end, he was chased and killed by a mafia boss. The man asked the butler to help find information on the mafia boss. Soon after, the man returned to school. He lied, saying that he couldn't find his social security card, but he brought his uncle's social security number. His uncle also had a membership at the car dealership, but Smith was a bit scared because his uncle's photo looked tough. But the classmates next to him urged Smith to agree. Smith, who cared about his image, could only reluctantly agree. That evening, Smith used his uncle's social security number to borrow a huge sum of money from an illegal gang. The next day, the man saw photos of luxury cars on social media. He knew that Smith had fallen into his trap. Next came the second step of revenge. That afternoon, the man went to school for class. Unexpectedly, as soon as the teacher entered, she angrily criticized the entire class. It turned out that rumors had suddenly spread online about the school. Every day, luxury cars bought by Smith were parked at the school. Netizens criticized the school for not focusing on education, but fostering a culture of comparison instead. The teacher immediately ordered the students to drive all the luxury cars out of the school and park them in the paid parking lot outside. The classmates were immediately distressed. They came from ordinary families. The parking lot outside charged at least $100,000 a year. They could not afford it. At this moment, the man stepped forward. He praised Smith's generosity. He believed Smith would definitely solve the problem for them. Other students also supported him. They hoped Smith would cover all their parking fees. Although Smith was reluctant, now he had been elevated to the pedestal. He could only spend the remaining money he had after buying the cars to pay for the parking fees. Everyone was suddenly happy. The man smiled mysteriously beside them. Meanwhile, in a luxurious hotel, the mafia boss was extremely angry. How dare anyone use his identity to borrow money? He immediately ordered his men to investigate. Before his men could act, the boss received an anonymous email. It detailed how Smith had used the boss's social security number to borrow money. He immediately took his men to Smith's school. Meanwhile, on the other side, the man was preparing to go home after school, but he was stopped by Smith at the school gate. Smith's original plan was to temporarily use his uncle's identity to take out a loan. Then, once the man found the social security card, he would borrow the money and pay it back to his uncle. After all, his uncle looked very fierce. Smith didn't want to cause trouble, but the man never found the social security card. It was only then that Smith realized that the man must have hidden it away. He ordered his men to control the man and teach him a harsh lesson. Just then, the mafia boss arrived at the school with his men. The boss loudly demanded to know who Smith was and told Smith to come out. But Smith's men thought this was an actor hired by the man. They arrogantly mocked the boss for being a bad actor. The boss gave a disdainful smile. In the next second, he threw a tomato right at one of his men's face. He wasn't here for a Disney show. He didn't have time to entertain naive students. The surrounding students were immediately scared and fled, leaving only the man, Smith, and his girlfriend. As soon as Smith saw the boss's face, he immediately recognized him as the man's uncle. He naively thought that this was a role played by the man and his uncle as part of a mafia act. Smith arrogantly told the boss to go to a mental hospital if he was getting old, and not to cause trouble at school. The boss smiled slightly. He casually made a gesture with his hand. His men immediately restrained Smith. The man was quietly laughing to himself. At this moment, Smith still didn't know that his unlucky life was just beginning.